Good morning, everyone. Today is September 29th, 2021. This is a regular meeting of the members of the State Liquor Authority. In attendance, Chairman Bradley, Commissioner Fan, Commissioner Ford. Staff in attendance, Deputy Commissioner of Licensing Roberts, Associate Attorney Ferrari for Counsel's Office, and myself, Tom Downey, Secretary of the Authority. We're going to call items in the order they're assigned in. First in Buffalo, if we have anything, then in Albany, then in New York City. If we have anything signed in Albany, that would normally be heard in New York City, which would be Zone 1 licensing disciplinary matter or matter of general interest, we will hold off until we start the New York City calendar at 11 o'clock, or once we finish Buffalo and Albany, whichever is later. If you have a cell phone, please silence it. If you take a call, please go outside. We have instituted some temporary COVID-related precautions. Like instructed, if you're while you're sitting in the gallery waiting to be heard, please keep your mask on. The members, since they're at their workstations and socially distanced, are not wearing the mask. When you're called up for your item, if you want, you're welcome to take your mask off. If that will help you be heard better by the members. And also, when your item is called, please approach the podium and put your name on the record. To repeat some guidelines we put in place a few meetings ago, as a general rule of thumb, you can have 5 minutes for your item. And if you have a number of people who are going to be speaking, collectively you have 5 minutes. So if there are several of you in opposition to a matter, please sort out among yourselves how much time you're going to take. Otherwise, we'll just divide by the number of you, and that's how much time you're going to get. With that, Chairman, do you have any announcements to make?
I do not, but I believe Mr. Roberts does.
I do. Members, the Licensing Bureau is asking the members to consider and evaluate the self-certification program, the attorney self-certification program. We're going to be asking the members to either reaffirm and continue the program, to assess the program and revise it, or potentially discontinue the attorney self-certification program. We would like to open up the option for the industry to submit comment to the authority regarding this. If anybody would like to submit comment regarding the attorney self-certification program, then you send it to Secretary's office with a closing date of 10/27.
What I would suggest, if the members are inclined to pursue that request, then we put the matter on the calendar, say for November 10th, and then ask for any comments to be submitted by the 10/27 board meeting. That will give you 2 weeks to review whatever we have before the 11/10 meeting.
Okay.
So rather than requiring to be the Friday before the 11/10 meeting, we'll just move that back a little bit so you have more time.
Is this the same item that we moved to 10:13 last meeting? Or is something different?
Declaratory ruling, so it's something different.
Right. The declaratory ruling request regarding the self-certification program was held over until October 13th.
I see.
That is still scheduled for that day.
I see.
So I guess I would ask you then if that request with the proposed schedule, is that agreeable to all of you?
That's fine. So submission by October 27, and then we'll hear it on November 10th.
Yeah. Commissioner Ford?
It's fine with me.
Yeah, it's fine with me as
I
well.
was ready to get you.
I think I'm having a computer issue here.
All right then.
Dan.
I got a little message to start my computer. I won't do that.
Is that plugged?
It's supposed to.
Tom, is this plugged in? Tom, is this plugged in to the system?
Yeah, I have another problem.
Maybe I said, maybe not. I see something down. Yes. No.
Let him do it. He'll do it when he's ready. I don't, we may not do it.
Yes, anyone need, yeah.
That worked. Thank you.
I had to, we lost the YouTube feed on each one of the computers. I think I have it back now. All right then, so the first item, you're all set to go there, Jim?
Yes.
The first item on the calendar, we're going to take out of order. It's item 2586. This was the request from Washington County to change their hours of operation, hours of sale for Good Friday. The matter was before you some time ago. There was a public hearing scheduled that was conducted by an administrative law judge. You have the ALJ's report in front of you. So now it's before you is whether or not to grant the request from the Washington County Legislature to modify the hours of Good Friday to eliminate that restriction.
Is there
Commissioner, are we all set? Commissioner Fan?
Yes, I will be okay. I'm going to vote to approve the removal of restriction of,
Commissioner Ford? Sorry.
I vote to approve as well.
Chairman Brown?
I vote to approve, which was the ALJ's, which was the information the ALJ gathered. There was no opposition to the removal of restrictions.
I would still love to know how this restriction was
created in the first place.
I've never seen that, but
It was, if you, the history is in there, apparently it was one that kind of just was never changed. Other things were changed and that one wasn't, so.
So it's been there that long.
It's, I think we went back as far as the 40s
Yeah,
and it was still there.
interesting. Now we know.
You weren't here then, were you, Tom?
I had just started, I was on probation.
He's an intern.
All right, then, the next item we have in Albany is 2560 Mohonk Wine and Liquor LLC.
Members of the board, good morning.
There is opposition to this, is that right?
Good morning. My name is Sean May. I'm here with the applicant principal for Hospitality. And this is for a new package store application in Gardner, New York.
So why don't we let the opposition go now that you're on the record?
Good morning. I'm Jessica Glass of Stenger Diamond and Glass, and I'm here representing Gourmet Vends, which is protesting this application.
Okay.
Gourmet Vends is located less than 1 mile away from the proposed location. No public convenience or advantage will be served by adding this store to this location. Both Gourmet Vends and the proposed store are located in the town of Gardner. Gardner is a small rural town. It has a population of 5,598 people. That is a declining population. In 2010, since that time, it's declined by 2.2%. There are no large
2.2% over 11 years?
Yeah, and it's been relatively stable but declining. There's no large commercial or residential developments that are planned for Gardner. Gardner, as a municipality, prides itself on preserving the rural character of the town. Gourmet Vends has been in operation in this location since 2000. Gourmet Vends' predecessor has been in operation in this location since 2007. Gourmet Vends has been there since 2013. It's a small store. It has a total square footage of 1,000 square feet with retail square footage of less than 600 square feet. But despite that, it has an impressive array of wines and liquors that it offers. It carries 800 SKUs at any given time. On a weekly basis, it is rotating its inventory. It has educational components, weekly tastings, and monthly seminars. Its sales data, which has been submitted, shows that Gourmet Ben's sales have decreased from 2017 to 2018. There was a decrease. 2018 and 2019 were flat. In 2020, which is an anomaly, it did have a sizable increase. But since that time, and as Mr. Giannotti could tell you, the sales in recent months have begun to level again to pre-pandemic levels, and that is what he's anticipating going forward. The store that is being proposed is simply much too large for this area. It is a 2,500 square foot store. Of that, 2,400 square feet are devoted to retail. That is 2.5 times the size of Gourmet Ben's. And the retail square footage is 4 times larger than Gourmet Ben's. It would make it one of the largest stores in the area. In addition to Gourmet Ben's, there are 5 other full-service liquor stores within a 6-mile radius. 1 serving Walk Hill, 1 store serving Platikill. There is also actually a second store in Platikill, but it's serving a campground. And my understanding is that the customer base is really exclusively campground patrons. And then there's 3 stores that are serving the town of New Paltz.
We have the information we have about the one in Walk Hill is that they closed,
Oh, I'm unaware of that.
that they sold the business, which I don't think we're aware of either. Are we? We haven't got a new application, have we, for that?
No, so I mean, they may have.
Is the license in safekeeping or no?
Says it was surrendered on June 14th.
So if it's surrendered, there's no store there.
Say they surrendered on July 14th, June 14th. I don't know if we did. That's what they said.
In any event, this store is not going into Walk Hill. This store is going into Gardner, in less than a mile from this location. So out of Platikill, which has a population of 10,100 people, and New Paltz, which the village and town have a combined population of 21,000 people, Gardner has a very small population, and if this store was granted, it would be splitting its sales between 2 stores. In summary, this proposed store is too big, it's too close, and it serves no additional benefit to this small rural community that is not already provided by the existence of Gourmet Ben's or the other multitude of surrounding stores within a close radius.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else here on this?
Can I just ask you a
Yes,
question?
sir.
You're called the Hudson Valley Wine Market, so what percentage is wine and what percentage spirit?
I would say, over the course of the year, probably 70% of our sales are in wine and 30% in spirits.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Deborah Roush. I have the store in Good Taste in New Paltz, New York. I'm opposing the opening of this store based that I don't feel it's necessary as well as the other opposer. My biggest concerns with this is also my sales did decrease for a few years, as I've noted in my letter that I sent to you. But my other concerns are the relationships of the partners that are going to be owning the building and the one person that will be owning the store. On this information that I've gathered, all 3 of them now own liquor stores. Well, the 3rd one will own a liquor store. One guy has, I'm sorry to say that, one guy has a place called Shamrock, which is 10 miles, Highlands, 10 miles from Gardner, and the other store, I believe, is about 20 miles. I'm concerned about, I don't know if they're family members or not, but having 3 people owning liquor stores involved in one concerns me.
Well, the information we have is they're involved in the ownership of the building,
Ownership in the building.
which I understand your concern, and I'm not telling you it's not relevant, but it's not illegal, unfortunately. If they own, 3 people obviously can't own this store if they own 2 others, but they can own the building.
Right, and then one of the partners that own the building then owns the store.
Right.
Right, okay.
Two of them.
2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of the partners. Actually, if they get this store, 3 of them will own liquor stores, 3 separate.
Within 22 miles of the
Right, I
park.
know, I understand your concern, and obviously, should what you're concerned about occur, if this is granted, then they're gonna lose all 3 stores.
Yes. My other concern is, if I'm reading this correctly, it will only cost $40,000 for them to open a store. I opened a store 24 years ago in the village. It cost me $50,000 in just inventory, much more than that to build the inside of my store, to put in POS systems and racks, and I just don't see where this amount of money is justifying what they're doing.
Okay.
What percentage of your customers you think are driving from Gardner to New Paltz to go to your store? Because your store is almost 6 miles away.
Yes, I would say a large amount. Gardner shares school. All the Gardner children go to New Paltz schools. There are no schools in Gardner, so all those parents and teachers all come into New Paltz. So even though they have a different zip code, they all pay our school taxes. So we are all together.
I understand.
Are you the only store in New Paltz? Our
No,
records don't expand that far out, so.
no, I'm not.
Mine.
Actually, there's a store a mile from me. It's called New Paltz Parents. They've been there for a very long time.
Okay.
A mile from you, which way? Towards the
So-
thruway or the other way?
Okay, I'm by the bridge on the last
Right.
store. Then going towards the thruway is New Paltz Wine and Spirits. They're actually 6.5 miles from the store that we're here to talk about. And then there is Fox and Hounds, which is in the Tops Plaza,
Yep.
which is 7.3 miles from the store that we're talking about. And then there's me, and then of course the gentleman that was here before is 1 mile.
Do you deliver to Gardner?
I do deliver.
How much of your business is delivering to Gardner?
I have to tell you that obviously our delivery went way up during the pandemic. People were calling. Now, not so much, but for the first year of COVID, we were delivering everywhere. I would say I have 4 regular customers in Gardner. And there's Airbnbs, and of course it happens more.
Members, just for the record, Ball Kill Wine and Liquor was transferred. A new store was replaced in June this year.
Oh, okay, so they
It was replaced.
okay.
And it's close by or same location?
This is about 6.3 miles away from the proposed premises.
So they replaced in the same location?
They did.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you, members. Okay, so our store, Mohonk Wine and Liquor, as we said in our submission, is located on busy Route 208 in Gardner. This is a large tourist area. This is the apple tree. Yeah, towns. Sure, there's several, the towns are dotted throughout this area. There are a lot of small towns. We're targeting really the tourist kind of traffic that goes through there, and there are new developments. I don't have the census numbers. I don't think they've been released yet, so I can't speak to those.
What's the amount on road that's 35 high-end houses?
In our submissions, there's been a new development of 35 high-end homes, and there's another development that's been approved. The real estate market in north of New York City is red hot right now. Back to the tourist store, as you can see, there's this size store is not inconsistent with the area. My Maui store, I believe, is 2,200 square feet. The recreational campground store is over 2,000 square feet. This store is going to be, what we're trying to do is rehab a dilapidated building that's been falling apart for decades.
Is it one building or 2 buildings? It looks like there's a building behind a building. Is that
No, it's just an addition, that's part of it, it's just be one building, it's just falling down the back.
the supervisor has pointed it out that to her it's 2 buildings. Why would she say that?
There's a house on the property, to the right of it. That's right there.
Not part of the real estate.
Yeah.
So there are technically 2 buildings on that plot of real estate. The store itself is going to be one store with addition in the rear, and there's another house on the property.
Yeah, it looks like a house, a big garage or something like that. that's, I mean, like almost attached to it. It looks like it's that close. Would that be a correct description?
They have, it used to be like an addition onto the original structure,
Yes.
which is not falling down, but that's gonna be part of the whole store, it's all one.
Is that being torn down or
No, it's gonna
rehabilitated?
be rehabilitated, rebuilt.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's fine, thank you. So, again, Gardner, New York, the Gourmet Veg store, that's the one in Gardner, it is a very small store. It's a nice store, I've seen it, they don't have a lot of selection because of the size of the store, it's 500 square feet. But again, you know, we're not really targeting the Gardner population as much as we are targeting the influx of tourists and on that busy highway. That highway is approximately 12,000 cars, you know, daily. And as you can see, the sales numbers for the recreational campground store that services only the campground, it's only open seasonally. They're doing 1.5 million a year, so that just bolsters the argument.
How do you know that?
It was in the responses, the gross sales receipts.
We get that. That one we ended up with no response on that. Was that in the supplemental, Adam?
No? Not in mine.
Gourmet?
No, recreational campground.
They're open only on weekends.
Second closest.
Yeah. They're only open on.
But they have it.
I have it, yeah, I have it.
Who'd you get it from us?
Yes, it was a foil,
Foil.
response.
Wow.
They came in late.
I don't have it.
Okay, go ahead. So can you read those off to us, the years? So this is the sales self-reported by the campground, right?
By the campground, which is, again, seasonal only, and serves campgrounds. I've got a 1.5 million a year and trending mostly consistent.
Can you just read the numbers?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I don't have that.
Oh, you just took notes, yeah. Okay.
I apologize.
Oh. But in 2020, it's 1.5?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, we feel like a large, we want to showcase New York products. You know, that Mr. Patel has estimated 1,000 square feet to New York wines and distillery products. I understand there are a lot of roadside stands. It was brought up in one of the opposition letters and farmers markets, but you can't tell me that a New York winery would not want to have another retail outlet despite the ability to sell in an agricultural market in Queens. And we're really trying to target that tourist traffic. And of course, you know, obviously we're going to get the local community as well. I'm sure Gourmet Veg has, they're following the public convenience and advantages is really going to sway towards a higher selection of products. Chill room, like we said, tasting and education area, which I understand we have as well, but very large New York State section, which is part of the business plan, which is part of that New York tourist thing that we're going for. There's other campgrounds nearby, Yogi Bear Campground, there's the skydiving thing is a popular attraction in that area.
Can I ask you about your investment, Mr. Patel? I mean, $40,000, these buildings look like, to me, like they're in like really, really bad shape.
So
Well, I was gonna say the landlord is taking care of the real estate and the rehab, and we're estimating what it's gonna cost us to go in there and pretty much vanilla box it with shelving and the tasting area.
But he is the landlord.
The father's the landlord.
Oh, it's his father. Oh, don't you own the building? With your,
I don't know the store completely, the building, father's own.
and that's my question is what's your relationship with the other two owners of the building?
It's my father and my brother, well, no, it's just me and my dad.
Just you and your dad.
Well, you got three on here.
Yeah, he's not, you know,
So who's gonna own the building?
my dad's gonna own the building, we partners with him on the
Belong
building.
to you.
Yeah.
So what's your dad's name?
Yeah.
Yash Fontaine.
And your, Prakash?
Yes,
And who's Cheyenne?
that's my brother, he's not in the other building.
So you don't own the building yet?
No, we're closing.
It's conditional?
Pending contingent on approval of the liquor license.
Okay.
Yeah, Yash, Shine, they also have stores in that area. The family's from that area. And Yash and Kristen have Shamrock, and Or Cheyenne and Tristan of Shamrock, yeah, she has a store down there.
What do you mean they have stores?
Liquor store.
Liquor stores?
Liquor store, yeah.
One in Highland, one in Marlboro, and
The
one
brother
in.
has a package store, and the father also has a package store. And he's experienced in the industry, and it's a good business to go into, you know, based on what his brother's doing.
How is he experienced in the industry?
Well, he knows the
I've
family.
grown up in retail, worked with my father.
You've actually worked at these stores, or, I mean, it's not on your history, I'm just asking.
Not in the store, but in retail, convenience stores, gas stations, you know, it's very similar.
You used to own those?
Growing up, my family, my dad, that's how I started, and I
Oh.
worked since I was a kid with them.
I see.
Yeah.
And so you now own a towing company and an insurance company?
The insurance, towing company I'm selling, the insurance business, I have something running for me now.
I see. So you're going to be running this store, well, rehabbing it first and then running it?
Members, just for the record, we did get a late submission for recreational adventure. 2017, about 1.4, 2018, 1.5, 2019, 1.5, 2020, 871, and then year-to-date, about 428 as of June.
I'm sorry, can you start from the top again?
About 1.4 for 17, it's actually 1.44. 2018 is 1.51. 2019 is 1.54. 2020 is 871,000, and then year-to-date as of June of this year, 428.
And that's strictly visitors, campground, patrons.
Yeah, so they really suffered during COVID. with
Nobody
silting.
camping.
Yeah, nobody
was camping
camping.
during COVID, huh?
Yeah.
But then people started camping again and they were drinking.
Right. Yeah, we also have
So how much money are you and your dad gonna spend on rehabbing the building?
The building's gonna cost, I mean, anywhere from $400,000 to $500,000 to rehab it.
And you're buying it for,
The purchase price, I believe, is
okay, so you're spending almost $1 million in this venture.
really do improve.
And you're gonna spend time running this thing.
I'm gonna be,
And it's not gonna be in concert with the other two stores, right? How are you gonna keep that separate?
what do you mean, for like family stores?
Yeah,
It's a
Separate
separate
business,
business.
do it separate.
Yeah, it's separate.
okay. Just make sure that's the case,
Yeah,
because
I understand.
it's not a good, it's no good
All
news.
three licenses.
Yeah, it will be bad.
Yeah, I understand, totally.
It's gonna be,
Yeah.
and we will be checking, so.
Yeah, of course.
All right, are you good? Ready?
Ready to vote then?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Fan.
I'm gonna find public convenience and advantage, I'm gonna vote to approve.
Commissioner Ford.
I'm going to vote to approve as well on public convenience and advantage.
Chairman Grant.
I'm gonna vote to approve as well. I'm familiar with the intersection this is at, and it definitely is a main thoroughfare in this area. And then the other thing is that the second closest store, as council pointed out, is a campground, which means that there's one store within a mile of this place, but then the next closest store is almost 6 miles away, because no one is driving into the campground unless you're staying at the campground. So I think that there is a public convenience and advantage to having one at this intersection, and then to give the people in this area another choice.
Thank you, members.
Thank you.
All right, the next item I have in Albany, 2572 ADK General Store, Inc. I think we have opposition for this one as well.
Can you put your name on the record?
Joseph Kalachi.
What number are we?
2572. And who's the opposition?
Jerry Doyle's related to the
Okay, why don't we let them go first? Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank you for the time, the opportunity.
I'd like to thank you for coming down, both of you.
I'd like to apologize to you too, it's a small community. Unfortunately, it is a frustration for me. It is a small community. The proposed location is 4.5 miles away from my store.
What's your store again?
Screw Lake Wine and Liquor.
It says 13.1 miles here.
The lamp tool shows it at 4.5 miles. Yes, you have to drive across
It's
the
around the
lake.
lake. It's
So
around
it's
the
on the
lake.
other side of
That's
the lake.
true, but none of that was taken into consideration when I was applying for my license. It was straight line of sight using.
No, I mean, we get both numbers. We get 13.1 plus we get the, whatever the distance you just mentioned is. We know that the straight line number's coming off lamp.
Okay, so, realistically, the store over there is a general store. It's a gift shop, it's a restaurant, it's a deli, it's a live entertainment venue, and now they want to add a liquor license, full liquor license for off-premise consumption. I don't see how they can separate the ability to run those separately as complete entities of themselves. I also don't see how they don't have a competitive advantage drawing people into the community there, being able to do all their shopping in a general store, in a liquor store, and maintaining them as separate businesses.
There are others. They're not new. It's not precedent.
I agree with that. However, in this community, it's a very small, confined area. You're looking at approximately 1,700 people across the community. By summertime, that grows to about 3 times that number. My store survives on the fact that we make 80% of our money in roughly 3 months of the year. The other 9 months, we're trying not to give it all back. Taking this store into consideration during the prime season alone, when the majority of those people that are living on the backside of that lake are there, it's going to make it a very difficult time having 2 stores be competitive in the same marketplace, so close together. We know historically from Spring Lake, we've had times when there were 2 liquor stores before, one put the other out of business. That's just the nature of where we live. We're rural and a small community. In addition, that store used to operate as a deli with a deli license, a beer and wine license, grocery license, and a separate restaurant license. Those 2 apparently are now combined into having just one restaurant license. So they're selling the beer and wine from the grocery section under the premise of it's to go from the restaurant.
Well, they can't sell the wine, they don't sell wine, they sell wine products.
Well,
If they're
they
selling
sell
wine,
from the restaurant.
if they're selling wine, they're selling it illegally.
Well, if they're selling wine, they're selling it out of the restaurant under the probably COVID restrictions.
Yeah, but they're all lifted at this point, so.
I just don't see how adding another liquor store is going to really improve the community. That was the key question, is will the issuance of this.
Well, it's not. The standard is actually public convenience advantage, and I hate to say it, I mean, if they can shop all at the same place, that is public convenience for
Okay.
the visitors.
Yeah,
And
and then the driving, I realize out there, the population is used to driving long distances, but the closest store is 10 miles away by car, which is, you have to drive an hour or a half hour to get, a round trip half hour to get a bottle of wine. I mean,
That's basically what it is now.
Yeah.
right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same
For
thing.
some people, it's not for everybody.
Yes, it is. It's for some people. And they do have other choices. There's Chestertown, there are Bolton Landing. They don't always have to come to Spring Lake. I lose customers to those other locations on a regular basis.
But Bolton
However,
Landing to Schroon Lake, I mean, that's another universe. I mean,
Not
that's
really.
Not
Not-
Adirondacks. Yeah, it is. It's another universe. That's not affecting your business. How can it be? You're in
The
Warren
people-
County. Those are down on Lake George, and you're up Essex County. I'm sorry, they're down in Warren County.
Warren County is the south end of our lake.
Okay.
Some of those people in Warren County do go to Bolton Landing as their closest place to buy groceries, to buy other supplies.
Okay.
It's just a nature of where we live. It's a difficult situation where
But I think what Commissioner Ford is saying, they would not be your customers because the Bolton Landing is closer to them. The convenience is Bolton Landing.
possibly.
Or Chestertown.
Not all the time though. There are reasons why they come into our town. We have a pharmacy in our town. We have a grocery store in our town. We have shopping in our town that we don't have in some of these other places. There's no dollar store in Bolton Land.
Okay.
And you're also right off of 87 to your benefit,
Correct.
to your profit, to your point.
I also don't see how they could diversify themselves. One of the questions of density is, how is your store going to be different from other stores? And unless they're carrying a different type of line of product that I'm going to be focused on, I don't see them being any different than your average liquor store. I do believe that they're at about 150 square feet is what they're saying is a retail space right now. And I can see they get their foot in the door and suddenly the gift shop is gone and they've expanded to having more space and now they're a full-fledged liquor store. I also don't see how they can separate the two businesses from the grocery side, the restaurant side, and not have a draw that not only brings people to the venue because it's a live music entertainment and whatever else, but also where the blending of the lines of what they bought for the liquor store versus what they bought for the grocery side.
Well, there can't be blending.
I would appreciate
Well, I
that.
mean, so I get what you're concerned about, I understand, but what you're concerned about is illegal. I mean, for them to do that.
Absolutely.
If they did that, they would lose the license. And they'd probably lose both licenses, the grocery store and the liquor store. So, you know, we are concerned about that as well. And we, if we get complaints that is happening, we certainly investigate them thoroughly.
Yep.
And we have been extremely harsh on people that have done that. And I believe will continue to be. So this store, if they get it, has to be completely separate, not just in business, but also in its entrance, also in its storage. Everything has to be separate. And I'm sure they're aware of that. Now, if they violate that, then it's a different story.
Sure. Again, I just don't see, how they're going to fairly operate as separate businesses. I can't sell a T-shirt in my store, but they can sell a T-shirt next door that says Adirondack Liquor Store with some fancy emblem on it, and they can do that.
Nothing
I can't
illegal.
do
Well, you can
nothing.
create a separate space, another entrances, or, build an addition to your building and sell T-shirts
I
there.
was told I couldn't have a food truck on my property.
You can't. Unless
Because
it's
it's
it
outside.
has to be a separate, as she said, separate business.
It is, it's a separate business.
On separate property.
I've had people come to me and ask me if they could put a food truck on my property as a place to set up their business. And I was told that I should not do that because it could be offensive to the
You
seller.
can if you take a piece of your property and lease it to them.
I think we're, there are ways to do things that you're looking to do, and if you would like some advice on potential licensing matters, we'd be happy to help you with that, but I think for the purposes of opposition.
Sure.
But what your
My
point is, liquor stores can't do any other business. You're
That's
correct.
correct.
And what you're complaining about is the fact that they happen to own the businesses next door, which are separate.
That can directly
They're
contribute to the liquor store.
But that is actually public convenience and advantage. You're actually proving their point right now.
It's separate entities, and that is, as she said, like Commissioner Ford pointed out, it's a very common thing for someone to own a grocery store. I don't know how many Wegmans you've gone to.
I was just thinking
The
about
Wegmans,
I
they
get
own
that completely.
they own the grocery store. Well, many of their family members own a liquor store right next door, and that's the point. Is that a competitive advantage? Of course.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, but that's why they do it, because it's nothing illegal about it,
Okay.
Appreciate your point.
as long as they're separate.
Okay.
Understand.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Okay,
You're up.
Okay, it is a convenience thing, that's why we're doing it. It's
Several requests for it from our customers.
so let me ask you this before you get into it. What does the general store do right now? I'm looking at your diagram. What does the general store do? What kind of license do you already have?
We have an on-premise beer, wine, cider, as well as an off-premise for the general store itself.
So that general store is delineated from the restaurant?
Yes.
So you're not selling wine to go
no,
post-COVID? I know you could during COVID. Okay.
we're
Go
not,
ahead.
we're not a live entertainment venue, I don't know that.
I think we asked, we originally were going to do that, we put it
Oh,
on license, but we don't do live music. it's just not the,
It's a tourist town, that's what it is, and he said people ask for it, and you have the space, a separate entrance and everything, or it was built there, so.
because not everybody can go across the lake. And so it is 13 miles. It's a good 20-25 minutes one way to get
Yeah.
to the closest liquor store.
So this area that you're talking about, is it on the back of the store? Is it on the side of the store?
It's on the side of
It's
it.
on the side.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a separate entrance.
Yes. Yep.
And it's not connected to this. I couldn't tell from the diagram whether does it open into your store in any way? I mean, into the general store?
No.
It's completely two walls, completely
Yes.
separated.
Yes.
So you have to go outside to get into it.
No.
No, we can go into one room and then go into the other room. There's a.
In the back.
Yeah, there's a back.
Wait,
That's problematic.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So if the members, we'll have to relook at this, if the members were to grant this license, we have to make a condition of approval that that entryway between the two premises is
Not
completely,
sealed.
that there can't be any access between the two, and on the interior, they have to be completely separate entrances.
And that's for your own well-being as well, because if you start storing stuff for your liquor store in your grocery store or your general store, you're gonna lose your license. You'll probably lose both licenses. You can't commingle the stuff.
It's not going to be commingled.
No, I know, but the risk of that being connected means,
Okay.
oh, we don't have room, we're gonna throw one in here, and then our investigator happens to come by that day,
Mhm.
and then it's all bets are off.
So you own the restaurants as well, right?
We own the one.
You own the restaurant?
Yes, it's part of the general
Yes,
store.
that-
And so how do you do it now to keep what's part of the general store and a restaurant separate? How do you do that?
It's separate areas.
And we don't sell wine.
We don't sell.
We can only serve it in the restaurant.
Okay.
So the beer that we can carry off premise is in the cooler,
Mhm.
so they can come to the register and buy beer to go.
And that's in the general store?
If that's in the
Right.
deli/general store area. And then the restaurant is separate, but it's divided, but you can walk from the store into.
Are you selling the beer on your restaurant license, or are you selling it on a grocery store license? Do you have two licenses right now, or
Not
one?
one.
Right, okay. So the restaurant could sell
If you're selling beer at the cashier station, you need to have to talk with licensing.
Yeah, I think
That's another bar.
there's a few things that we have to talk about.
Well, it was my understanding when I called, when we originally bought the store, they told me it was one license. And I've got my notes.
No, you can sell beer to go,
It's just the points of sale.
but the points of sale, you might need another.
So they have one current license, they have a restaurant wine license currently.
Right.
So whether their method of operation is something other than that.
And that cashier may be the point of sale for everybody.
Right, so I mean, it's,
Is it?
Um,
The restaurant, how do people at the restaurant pay?
They pay the cashier.
The same cashier.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's,
They go out and they stand in the line for the grocery, the general store?
No, they go in,
When you dine in with us, you bring your check up to the register.
But it's like, is there a bar? Do you have a bar people go to?
no bar. It's only served at the table.
all right, well, we can double check that, but that's something that, if that's what you're describing, it's probably fine, but we'll double check it.
Yeah, and that can be worked out. That's not
Adam is shaking his.
a deal killer.
You think it's, well, whatever,
So-
it's off topic.
I'm looking at your diagram here. It looks like the general store is adjacent to the shelving room, I guess you want to call it, storage. And so that shelving area room is for storage for the general store, correct? Is that how I'm looking at this? Because it's not shaded as part of the proposed premises.
The shelving where the storage is gonna be for the liquor.
Okay,
It's a liquor storage. It's
Okay.
not part of the general store.
okay. It's not shaded here as part of the premises for the liquor store. In your diagram, it shows the liquor storage room across the back, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's the shelving, that's the room where the
Okay.
storage is gonna be.
All right, well, all right. I think we beat this one to that. Are you ready to vote?
Yeah. I'm gonna find public convenience and advantage, and I'm gonna vote to approve.
Forward.
With the condition that, you really
Seal.
get rid of the,
And licensing will
Password.
check on that.
Good.
You're gonna have to be in contact with licensing to establish that you've closed that off.
Got it.
Yes.
I'll vote to approve as well, with the storage area being sealed off.
From the general store.
Yeah, sealed off from the general store. I mean, you're only, what, is that correct, 200 square feet? Yeah, so I mean, it's such a small, it's a postage stamp. And I do find for public convenience in the van to not have to drive 19, 20 miles to get liquor. I think you're better not driving on the road if you can get it closer, so.
Chairman Bradley.
I'm gonna vote to approve as well, with the same, condition, and also ask that the licensees firm up the operations of their other license, just to make sure that everything is within the bounds of the law, with licensing.
We'll have somebody reach out. I mean, it sounds like there's some things that need to be addressed.
Okay. They'll give us a call and,
Yeah, we'll send somebody an email.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll be taking, there's nothing else here in Albany. We'll be taking a brief break until 11, when we start the New York City calendar.
Is there anything we can take?
All right, we are back on the record after a recess. We're going to start with the New York City calendar. Before we start calling the items,
Do we have the feed? I can't.
yes, they're down the bottom.
Oh, I see, okay.
Before we start with the items, just a few announcements. For the next meetings I'm just going to repeat these from this earlier. The next meetings are October 13th, October 27th, November 10th. As you know, our temporary COVID requirements are that everyone who is in the room should have their mask on while they're seated in the gallery. When you come up to speak, you're welcome to take your mask off. The members and staff here in Albany, we're all socially distanced, so we don't have to wear our masks if we choose not to. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off, take your calls outside. There was a request made this morning by the Licensing Bureau to have the members review the self-certification program. I'll leave to Deputy Commissioner Roberts if he wants to elaborate, but the long story short is that we'll be posting something up on the website. The industry will be able to submit comments up until October 27th, which is two full board meetings from now. And the matter will be before the members, the comments that have been submitted in favor, in support, offering suggestions, whatever those comments are, at the November 10th meeting for the members to consider what, if anything, they wish to do with the self-certification program. With that, I don't have anything else. Chairman, I think we covered everything from this morning.
I do not have anything. I'll let Adam just elaborate on what you said.
Thank you, Chairman. So, yes, the Licensing Bureau is asking the members to evaluate the attorney self-certification program and whether they'd like to reaffirm and continue the program, to possibly revise the existing program as is, or to discontinue the program in its entirety. As Secretary Donahue mentioned, submissions should be written to and sent to Secretary's office, not the Licensing Bureau. Submissions should be made to Secretary's office by October 27th at the latest.
Right. Feel free to use either the Secretary's office email address or the full board supplemental email address, but that's where they should go. They should not be going to the members of the authority, to the licensing, to the Deputy Commissioner of Licensing, the Council's office. They should be coming to Secretary's office if you want them to be considered by the board at the November 10th meeting.
And all of this will be on the website.
Sure. All right then, to return to start the calendar in New York City, the first item I have is 2521, Ono Wine and Spirits, Inc.
Morning, Frank Palolo.
Can we make that bigger? Right, or not?
I don't know why it's not.
I want to make sure we can see Frank as
No,
well.
normally we can see them.
Can't miss Frank.
I think it has something to do with the issue down in New York City. We have the entire building, I understand, is having some connectivity problems, so we're not getting, for whatever reason, the.
All right, so just for the record to be clear, we are seeing you, Mr. Palillo, and we are hearing you clearly, but your image is very small as a result of the problem.
That's just on this monitor, on the actual feeds, on the YouTube feed, and on our WebEx feed, there are no issues.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. Would you please introduce yourselves, one by one?
No, now we're up. Now it's all cleared up.
Can I take this off?
Yes.
Probably because the mic is
Hello?
working. And also, in New York City, please keep in mind that the microphone is on that podium, so please try to refrain from putting any papers on top of the microphone or shuffling papers near the microphone.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm Liliana Montenegro.
Just.
Okay, just for clarification, this matter is on for a reconsideration of a licensing board decision to disapprove the application because it's not on street level. That's the only thing on before the members today. The members are not.
Yes.
Yes, really.
Okay.
If you look at the material that's on the agenda sheet, that's the issue. The reconsideration of the licensing board decision.
That's not what that says.
Okay. Can you, hold on, Mr. Palillo, can you stop for a second? Let me finish explaining. So the only issue, all right, before the members today is whether or not to reconsider that licensing board decision. If they do, the matter will return to licensing to prepare the full application for the members' review. This is not a consideration of public convenience and advantage.
Yeah.
So with that, Mr. Palillo.
I just wanted to have my clients introduce themselves.
Go ahead.
Please do.
Good morning. I'm Maria Fernanda Vaquerizo. Hello, good morning. I'm Holly Brown.
Hi.
I was under the impression this matter was on for a decision as far as licensing, if it's confined solely to the issue as to whether or not the premises is street level, then that's what I'm here for. There's, I believe, a 6-inch step from the ground floor of the premises to the sidewalk. It is
You are
common
correct.
in.
You are correct.
It is common in that portion of the city. Every other liquor store and every other retail establishment has the same setup because the sidewalks slope.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Is that Mr. Buscemi behind you?
It is. Can I just, let me?
Is he speaking on this as well?
I have nothing to say with regard to the issue today. I had put in opposition to the license application earlier on.
Got it.
Again, I
Got
thought
it.
it was on
Okay.
for reconsideration for PCNA.
Okay.
So we haven't
just-
seen the original application yet. We haven't seen that.
Right.
Okay, all right.
I would just
All
add.
right, I think we're.
was-
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to add that historically, the authority has treated this type of setup as ground level, as sidewalk level. And I have no-
Okay, thanks. I think we're ready.
All right.
All right, with that then,
I'll vote yes on reconsideration.
and send it back to licensing?
Yes, please.
Commissioner Ford.
Yes on consideration and back to licensing.
I will do the same.
I don't know how to do it on the agenda sheet.
Thank you.
You did it simple, but that would be a trademark.
Swoosh.
All right then, the next item in New York City is 2522. I'm sorry, not.
Yeah, we're going in order.
No, 2574, Rise Bar NYC LLC.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Donald Bernstein on behalf of the licensee and applicant. With me is Ted Arenas, who is the principal owner of Rise Bar. This is an application for approval of alterations. There was a restaurant on the corner adjoining Rise Bar that was licensed, became available, was vacant. We signed a lease for it and are taking over that space. There's also a change in method of operation. Currently, we have 2 a.m. during the week and 4 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays, and the change of method of operation is to extend the 4 a.m. to Sunday whenever Monday is a legal holiday, effectively Sunday becoming an extension of the weekend, and also 4 a.m. on Gay Pride Day. I can just answer your questions if you'd like, or I can respond to one or two of the points in the Deputy Commissioner's memorandum to you, which I think was the cause for this being before the full board. If I can address those.
I think their history was the applicant's history was the cause, but I'm just confused on, originally in the application there was a sidewalk cafe, and then I see that the community board, it's not in their STIPs, and then you filed an amendment, so there's no sidewalk cafe?
I don't think the sidewalk, I think we removed the sidewalk cafe. It would just
That's
be
what I'm asking.
for under the DOT guidelines.
Okay.
It was always under the DOT, we never had a
Yeah.
sidewalk.
I'm sorry, so you don't have the sidewalk cafe now?
There was a sidewalk cafe in front of Rise Bar, and once they take over the new space, which is on the corner, they'll comply with the DOT regulations and the authority's guidance on approval for those spaces.
But you don't have a full-time, a permanent sidewalk cafe, that's all COVID related, or whatever the DOT guidelines are, but you're not gonna put a formal sidewalk cafe out there, correct?
No.
Just compliance with DOT guidelines. So the answer is we will not. We will not.
When it was licensed originally, one of the full board stipulations was that there was no outdoor areas.
Okay.
But they
If you'd
will
like
have
me
it
to-
based on the open restaurant program.
So let me, just hold on 1 second. Under our program, didn't they have to get community board
Yes.
approval to do the DOT?
If they're going to, after July 7th, if they're using new municipal space, they have to give 30-day notification.
So then my question's not answered, because the community board does not want outdoor space here.
Yeah, but they will do it under open table.
No, but under our program with Open Table,
We need the community board.
Steps, they'd be allowed to. However, there are full board steps on here, so they should have came before the board to get approval to use outdoor space before they apply for DOT.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So,
On that or no?
go ahead.
What happened is that I did actually apply for the DOT for the Rise Bar side and the additional side. And I had met with the community board, and they were aware of the outdoor before they approved it. We actually went back and forth about the number of chairs. And so they actually approved the DOT seating with the new layout, even though I already had the DOT permit. There was never a sidewalk cafe. This is just the seating that happened with the DOT. So they're aware of the seats.
Okay. What are you saying?
It's violation.
Yeah, okay.
It's a violation.
But they're not saying it.
Who's not saying
The
anything?
CB.
They will say something.
Recess.
Yeah, sure.
Just put us on mute for a minute. I got to talk to council.
All right, we're going to take a brief recess to discuss a legal issue with council, so we're going to mute the line while we do that. All right, after a brief conference with council on a legal issue, where there is no discussion of the merits of the case or a vote taken, we're back on the record of this matter.
All right.
So, Mr. Bernstein, let me explain to you this license had stipulations on it that we imposed that indicated that outdoor seating was not allowed, which means that when the open restaurants and the DOT guidelines came into play, we also put out guidelines that said, if you have that condition on your license, you need to come to the full board in order to utilize the DOT outdoor space, and we have to approve it. That never occurred here. That's what we were discussing. That doesn't mean that we're going to take it away. It doesn't mean that we're not going to approve it today. I'm just telling you what we were discussing with council.
He's on mute, he's trying to say.
We are on mute.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, my recollection of the rules was that, and I may be wrong about this, but what I thought it was that if you were going to take outdoor space on private property, such as a courtyard or area in front of the premises that was not on a public sidewalk, and there was a stipulation with the CB or the authority that said you could not use outdoor space, in that instance you had to either get the approval of the community board or of the authority if the authority imposed that restriction. I did not think that that applied to municipal space under the DOT guidelines, in my recollection. And again, I don't have that in front of me right now, but my recollection.
The only reason it did was because our condition on the original license for this particular license was no outdoor space. Otherwise, if we didn't have that condition on the license, you're correct.
I thought it did not matter.
That being said, the community board seems to have already signed off on both DOT outdoor spaces that he wants to have, so it's less of an issue at this point in my mind, at least.
Okay, all right. If you do want me to address.
So, the expansion of hours, I want to really hone down on what is considered holidays, because the way it's written, really you could be open until 4 a.m. maybe every other weekend if you just use holidays as the framework here. So I think we need to narrow that down a little bit, because even when you say gay pride, I don't really know what that means. Is that the whole month of June? Like, is that the day after the parade? Like, what is gay pride?
I think that in terms of the Mondays, it would be national holidays, so it would be Labor Day, Memorial Day, if July 4th ever falls out on a Monday, if Christmas falls out on a Monday. So it would be a Martin Luther King Day, any national holiday is what we intended. And is there a Gay Pride Day?
Sunday is I think it's like around the 24th. It's when they have the Gay Pride Parade on Sundays.
So it's the
I think it's the last Sunday of June, typically.
So it would also apply then the Sunday of the Gay Pride Parade in New York City.
So is that a complete list, or is that just some suggestions?
I don't know if I'm forgetting any, but we certainly can restrict it to a national.
Because there is Columbus Days, there's Veterans Day. I mean, all of those are national holidays.
They would fall in. Under what he's saying, they would all fall in.
Yes, those would fall in. And that's what we discussed with the community board. It was national holidays.
Are you okay?
Where banks are closed.
That's a lot. I mean, it would be New Year's Day, Martin Luther King, Lincoln's birthday, oh, wow.
Could be 12.
Juneteenth, and then Gay Pride. That's pretty much, that's a.
You could just say whatever federal holidays are on Mondays.
Exactly.
I think that covers it. In addition to Gay Pride Day, which I don't think is a federal holiday yet, but we can add that on as an addendum.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you?
With the community board support, okay, let's propose as federal holidays in New York City, Gay Pride Parade Day.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So I will vote to approve as applied for, clarifying that holidays will be all federal holidays plus the New York City Gay Pride Day.
Thank you.
And that's to extend to 4 a.m. on on that Sunday, on the Sunday of the holiday or the Gay Pride Day.
So it's federal holidays on a Monday.
Correct.
If the federal holiday
Yeah,
is
it
on a
extends
Monday.
their Sunday night hours to 4 a.m. if the holiday's on a Monday.
Right.
And then the Gay Pride Day as well.
Commissioner Ford.
Is the Gay Pride Parade always held on a Sunday?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
so it'd be the
So it
Sunday
would be the Sunday of the Gay Pride Parade.
going into Monday.
Gay
Okay. I approve on the same reasons as Commissioner.
And then the alteration you're approving, everybody's approving as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I will do the same, and then just to make the record clear that the sidewalk cafe, previously the DOT sidewalk cafe that was put in place for the open restaurants, should have been approved by us earlier. It was not, I think out of basically just a misunderstanding of what the requirements were. This community board has signed off on these both outdoor extensions at this time for the old space as well as the space that he's adding on to the establishment. And at this point, we approve all those outdoor spaces as well, and the community board has as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item I have is 2605, Champlain Valley Wine and Spirits LLC. This matter was held over from the last meeting for the applicant to appear. Excuse me.
2605?
Yes.
2605.
It was 2435 before.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Lindsay Farina for Champlain Wine and Spirits. I also have with me Meredith Goldman, the sole principal, and Nellie McGowan, who will be overseeing premises operations and training staff on site. I know that you
And
indicated...
you said the co-owner?
No, the sole principal.
Oh,
I have with me the sole principal and the individual who will be overseeing site operations.
Okay.
Okay. I know that the authority mentioned at the last hearing they wanted to discuss the method of operation directly with our client, but I did want to just make a couple of brief statements first before allowing our client to speak. Firstly, the authority raised questions with regard to our client's diagram and internet sales operations. And when I addressed those issues with our client, it became apparent that they wished to maintain the flexibility to have the liquor store products packaged with food items during the upcoming holiday season. Therefore, we updated our method of operation within the written submission that I made to the full board so that they would be able to have the liquor store items packaged with other items and not run afoul of Rule 63 of the ABC law. With regard to public convenience and advantage, I wanted to just state that our client's location will not harm the existing liquor stores nearby, as 90% of their sales will derive from online orders. However, this particular location will have an on-site store, which is 438 square feet in size. This location will serve public convenience and advantage because there are no existing liquor stores in Blauvelt, and our closest competitor will be 2.1 miles away in central Nyack. The only opposition that was raised with regard to our application was from TZ Liquors, which is the fourth closest liquor store, being 3.1 miles away. Therefore, as there are no existing liquor stores in the immediate area of our client's proposed location, we believe it will serve public convenience and advantage. Quickly, I just wanted to discuss the diagram issues that were raised by the authority. On our new diagram, we've color-coded the areas for clarity. The small retail liquor store, which will be open to the public, is 438 square feet in size. The remaining portion of the premises, which we would cover with the liquor store license, is 1,562 square feet, consisting of an office space, restrooms, and a break room. The other areas shown on the diagram, which are cross-hatched in blue, would be the adjacent warehouse space, which will be 4,000 square feet in size, and which will be covered by a separate warehouse permit and will not be included as part of the liquor store premises. The internet sales that will be conducted will consist of approximately 95% or more of our clients' total business. They will include standard alcoholic beverage sales for sales to online patrons, as well as cocktail kits. Now, we understand that a retailer is limited to the items it can sell packaged with their alcohol. Therefore, when an online order is received for a cocktail kit, the portion of the order which includes alcohol will be fulfilled by the liquor store themselves. The alcohol products will then be taken outside of the liquor store portion of the premises onto the separate warehouse space, which is next door. Warehouse personnel will then package the alcohol product along with any other items included in the kit, and the items will then be shipped to the customer from the warehouse. Cocktail Courier or any other online websites which will feature our products, such as Drizzly and potentially a few other sites, will obtain the sale on our behalf, transmit the data to the licensee and the warehouse in exchange for a flat fee. Other than those details, I wanted to let Meredith, the sole principal, and Nellie, the individual who will oversee on-site operations, introduce themselves and give you some background information.
Well, I'll let them introduce themselves, and I have a couple questions. Go ahead.
Sure. Go ahead, Meredith, if you want to go first.
Hi, I'm Meredith Goldman. Thanks for having me.
Hello, I'm Nellie McGallan. Thank you.
So the office area of this space, which is going to be part of the licensed area, looks very large. Who's going to be in there?
Do you know who will be? Would that be your space? Or?
Yes, that would be my space.
Well, you live in Chicago, don't you?
Yes, I plan to relocate in Bluebell, New York.
And what are you going to be doing in there? Are you going to be getting Are you going to be getting the information about the liquor store as well as the information about the other items that you're selling?
Yes, I have taken certifications, and as well, I will be training staff.
But you're gonna run the warehouse part of the business out of there as well as the liquor store part of the business.
Yes.
Okay, and then the warehouse. I'm looking at you're gonna have a warehouse permit. I'm assuming that's where all the what's the word I'm looking for? Packaging's gonna happen?
Yes.
So where are you storing the alcohol for the liquor store?
It would be in the front store where we will have a retailer.
No, but if you're packaging, I'm assuming you plan on selling items that are going to be a large amount of sales, correct? If you're doing 95% internet sales, you're gonna need a lot of bottles of alcohol. Where are you gonna store those? All in the front in 450 square feet?
They would also store inventory in the warehouse next door. It would be their off-site storage area.
Okay.
Is there access, because I don't have the diagram in front, is there access from the back to the warehouse?
Not from the diagram, no.
So there, if you have the diagram, there's a hallway that goes from the entrance of the store. It goes down the middle of the liquor store premises, in between the office space and the break rooms. And then there is also the warehouse connected on the other side of the building.
Let me phrase it this way. I go in the front door of the package store. Are there any other doors leading out of the package store?
There's
and
not.
to anywhere else?
No, there will be a temporary wall put in place so that the warehouse is closed off from the package store premises, and the warehouse
That's
also
actually,
has.
that actually, it should be called a permanent wall, not a temporary wall.
Well,
there's nothing temporary about it.
It will be built. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The orders are coming in to the package store for the entire
yes
gift basket?
Correct.
She's doing both.
And are
And
they
they
being
will-
billed separately?
Yes, they will be billed separately.
And is there a different company that's billing for the non-alcoholic beverages?
Yes.
So why is the package store taking the orders then for the?
The package stores, they got whole companies' offices in the package store.
Correct. When there's
That's-
online
that-
orders.
That is in violation of the statute you're trying not to violate. You have two businesses running out of a package store. So this is not what you applied for, and I'm not gonna approve it because if I approve it, you're violating the law. In order to do this, and it's being done, obviously in other places, is the entities have to be completely separate, and they are not here. You have, I don't remember her name, but the owner is going to be in that office and take orders for non-alcoholic items as well as alcoholic items within the licensed premise, and you can't do it. Am I correct on that?
This is Mary.
That was
Sorry.
actually the on-site manager that was speaking to you previously. This is now Meredith, the owner.
Hi, this
Okay.
is Meredith.
Yes.
What happens is the liquor store takes the order, and on online marketplaces, individuals can purchase a cocktail kit. By saying that we take the order, we do, but we are only delivering the liquor portion.
I know, but you're taking the order, you're taking the solicitation, and you're doing it in the liquor store. You can't do it. It's like selling a hamburger with your bottle of wine. You can't do it. Even though the hamburger's not coming from you, it's coming from the warehouse, you're taking the order.
But we're transacting our portion at the liquor store. So if a marketplace sells a kit, we get notified that we need to deliver the liquor that's associated to that kit to the warehouse for the warehouse to package and serve the kit to the user. We don't actually do the. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
think there is a potential way to do this that is legal. I think the application that the members have before them is not it. And despite the fact that your representative submitted supplemental material trying to clarify that and change the method of operation, again, that is not what is in the application that is being presented to the members. And certainly the licensing bureau has not had the chance to review that information and contribute an opinion. So the application that we have on hand is what the members are considering, and I would certainly ask them to make a decision based on what's in front of them currently.
And as he said, there are people doing this legally, and you can do it legally. It's just the way you have described it to us isn't legal. So I think you have to go back to the drawing board. We can walk you through it. Adam would be happy to walk you through how you have to do it.
Can we send this back to licensing?
No, just file a new application.
I would prefer that was
May
not-
I ask a question before a vote is taken?
Sure.
My question is, our method of operation was updated via the written submission that was made to full board. That would seem to me, data that could be considered. Are you saying you're unable to consider that
Ms. Serena,
information?
you are not supplementing the application. You're changing the merits of the application. So therefore, I would encourage the members not to review that information. There's a distinction to be made there, and I think it's a valid one.
We can't have applicants showing up, and this has happened before, showing up at the meeting, having submitted something just before the meeting, saying we're going to change substantive parts of an application.
And again, this isn't just a public convenience and advantage type of decision I think that the members are making. You're basically asking them to approve a methodology
That is not legal.
that isn't legal. And again, to your point about making a submission supplemental, this was not a supplemental. This does not supplement the application. This changed the facts of the application and the merits on which the members can make a decision.
Understood.
Are we ready to vote then?
Yes.
Commissioner Fan?
I vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
I have to vote to deny as well.
Chairman Bradley?
I have to vote to deny.
Right then. The next item I have signed in is 2544 Harbes Family Vineyard LLC, but is someone here for that?
2544?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm here in opposition to the application.
2544, that's a disciplinary matter.
Correct. Yes.
You're opposing the discipline?
I am proposing the conditional, it's for consideration of a conditional no contest plea. And
Okay,
you are the neighbor, correct?
They're saying it's
Correct.
not.
The applicant has requested that the matter be held over. I mean, not the applicant, the licensee.
So here's what I have concerns about what's going on here myself, so we're not gonna have to hold this over, so you're not gonna have to come back. We're gonna send this, I believe, at the request of counsel's office, back to counsel's office, because there is another investigation that has been opened. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, it is.
All right. So we're gonna send this back. We don't need the lawyer to do that.
Okay, so Commissioner Fan?
Yes, send this back to counsel's office.
And the investigation is into other issues that we've become aware of.
The matter will be returned to counsel's office.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right, the next item I have is 2606, PLAYITAS Restaurant Corp. This matter was held over for the third time?
Yeah.
For the applicant to appear.
And they didn't.
I would note that, yes, last night at about 8 o'clock, the Secretary's office received,
Go to the podium.
He's here.
at about 8 o'clock last night, the Secretary's office received something from, and give me a second now.
Eddie Estrella?
Yeah. So yes, at 8:30 last night, Ralph Mesa submitted something to us, claiming that they had sent it in prior to the 9/1 meeting, but sent it the wrong email address, and apparently just realized that had happened. So that's not before you because it was too late for it to be submitted.
So we still don't have everything.
Do you want to put your name on the record and we'll go from there?
Yes. My name is Soilo Ramirez. I'm here as an interpreter for Mr. Palacios.
What happened to Mr. Estrella?
He had to go to an emergency out of the country. He couldn't be here today. That's the reason why I'm here. I work with him.
Who's out of the country?
The representative.
The representative? Is that the same person who reached out to you last night?
No. So do you also work with Mr. Mesa?
Actually, I work with Mr. Estrella in his office, and we do restaurant consulting. And I'm here as a...
No. So can you answer the question? Do you work with Mr. Mesa, the same firm?
No. No, I'm
working... Just answer my questions. Do you work with Mr. Estrella?
Yes.
Okay, so do you know why Mr. Mesa is sending information in about this application?
No, sir.
So they don't work with each other, is what you're saying?
Right.
Do we need any more information? So this is a recon. Why do we need to, we're gonna go through, right, Tom, with this?
Huh?
We're gonna go forward with this, right?
If you're ready to go forward with it, yeah.
All right, unless
there's any questions you have for the applicant who's kind enough to join us today.
No. So go ahead, it's a reconsideration. Why do we need to reconsider this?
Okay, there is a...
Wait, you're interpreting for him. You're not, are you representing him or interpreting?
Interpreting.
Then he needs to speak to, the way that works is he speaks to you and you tell us what he said.
Excellent, okay, all right. Entonces, usted me dijo que eso nunca lo sometieron.
¿Cuál? ¿Ese? Sí, o sea, sí son $35,000 que me prestó mi hermano.
Okay. Okay. He spoke to me before we walked in here, but I asked him again. He feels that there's something missing in the application. As he's showing me a $35,000 check that his sister, who's going to be the manager of the restaurant, gave him the loan for $35,000. He has a copy of the check here. So that's one of the things that he feels that has not been communicated to the liquor authority.
Well, it wasn't communicated, that's certainly news to us. What's the date on the check?
May 2020.
And is it, when was the, what's the date on the negotiation of the check in the bank? Is it stamped?
Está estampado. ¿Te tiene otro cheque? No.
No, solo, ahorita solo traje la copia nomás del estilo.
Yeah, he only has a copy of the check. Also, he feels that there's more information, like a bank statement that he was not able to get from his sister. He would like to provide that to the state authority.
Okay, was his sister the former owner of this place?
No. ¿Quién era el dueño anterior?
Mía Reina González.
¿Te la conoce?
Solo he tratado nomás por arrendamiento, no la conocía. La conocía a través de un amigo.
Okay.
Is his sister Reina Gonzalez?
Yeah. His sister is Glendice.
Sister is what?
Glendice Maria Palacios. There is
What's his relationship to Reina Gonzalez?
Reina González, ¿qué tiene que ver con usted?
Es mi arrendataria, es la que me arrenda a mí.
¿El restaurante o el restaurante o el local?
El local.
She's the landlord.
What's his relationship with her prior to that? Did he have any? Is she relative?
¿Usted es familia de ella? ¿Qué relación tenían anterior?
No, ninguna. Yo la conocí a través de un amigo cuando andaba buscando un lugar para rentar.
No, he met her through a friend when he was looking for a place to rent. And he came from Maryland. He used to live in Maryland and came to New York looking for a better life. And his sister said that she'll be willing to lend the money to open up the restaurant. And she gave
Maryland or Massachusetts?
Maryland.
When did he come from Maryland?
Well, I think he supposedly lived in Massachusetts, according to the application.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Remember that too.
He said that he moved to New York a year ago from Maryland.
This makes no sense. I don't know what's going on.
No, that's the problem. Well, the application indicates that he came from Massachusetts, I believe.
It does. And he had a job in Massachusetts.
No, he never lived there.
Well, and so there's a lot of problems going on here. One, the investment by his sister, which, based on what he's saying, happened 5 months before the application was actually even filed. 4 months before the application was even filed, yet it didn't end up on the application, the $35,000, which is, in my mind, a big deal. 2, he's indicated on the application he's coming from Massachusetts when you're just telling us now he's coming from Maryland. And 3, the reconsideration request is 2 months late. They're supposed to be filed in 30 days, and this is filed in 60.
May I be heard?
No. Well, actually, it was transmitted on.
Wait.
It was dated.
Yeah, go ahead. We might as well.
I apologize. I got a telephone call from Mr. Estrella last night asking me to appear in this matter. I told him I cannot. I'm not the least bit familiar with it. I think this gentleman is trying to help out. But I think the questions in the application really should be put to Mr. Estrella, since he's the one who prepared it. And I just think it might be in these people's best interest, whom I do not represent and do not know, but it might be in their best interest just to put it off one final time. And I know it's the third time.
Yeah, then we're setting a level of precedent that someone that makes these kind of mistakes on applications, which are big mistakes, these aren't typos. This is the failure to disclose an investor when the application had completely insufficient funds in it. And then also to tell us he doesn't even know where his client's coming from?
Mr. Chairman, this has a real address on it. Like, someone is making up information.
At some point, the representative's got to be responsible for the work they're doing.
And then the applicant also signed the application and said he lived in Massachusetts.
Folks, let me reiterate, I do not have a fight in this dog. However, I can't even get a liquor store application heard, so I'm going to step aside at this point. I just promised Mr. Estrella I would state for the record.
I
So
understand.
you do have a stake in it.
I do not have a stake in it.
You're up here representing on behalf of somebody else. You do, Mr. Polillo, and it's the board
I'm
members, not
I'm
folks.
standing here because Mr. Estrella called me and said it was an emergency where he could not be here. Adam, I can't have a stake in an application I know nothing about. I truly don't.
Thank you. We got it, thanks.
Are we ready to vote
Yeah, I
on
think
the
so.
request for reconsideration?
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Fan?
I think it was a typo.
What, the man's?
Yeah.
The Massachusetts is a typo. It's an address in Maryland.
Is there a zip code on it?
Zip code, let me see. Yeah, the zip code is accurate. It's actually a typo.
Zip code is actually what?
It's accurate.
Okay, all right. Then
So he actually typed mass, but had.
But it's actually.
But that, by the way, is just something we just noticed. That's not the major issue with this application.
Yeah, right. All right, I'm gonna vote to deny.
Commissioner Ford?
Yeah, I'm going to vote to deny as well.
Chairman Brad?
I'm going to vote to deny. I mean, the failure to, and this has been happening a lot recently, but the failure to disclose everyone that's an investor is, you know, we're statutory obligated to find out whose names are on these licenses because there are groups of individuals who are not able to hold liquor licenses legally. And unless we get accurate information on these applications about who the owners of these businesses are, then we can't properly enforce the law. So I'm going to vote to deny as well.
All right, then, the next item I have is 2542, APR Restaurants LLC.
Well,
2542.
2542.
Good morning, Frank Palillo again. This is an offering compromise on the COVID case.
I'll accept.
I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford?
Accept.
Thank you.
The next item I have 2531, Brick NYC Restaurant LLC.
31.
2531.
Frank Palillo.
Accept 1,500.
Okay.
Commissioner Ford?
Accept.
Chairman Brad?
Accept.
Thank you. Have a good 2 weeks.
Woodstock.
Next item I have 2534,
Nothing.
La Boom Inc.
So nothing for us to worry about.
Good morning, Donald Bernstein. I have not appeared in this disciplinary matter. I believe it's on for default today. I saw the calendar this morning when I came in and saw La Boom on the calendar, which is a client that I've represented recently on some matters. I'm aware that they had some violations issued relating to some occurrences in March of this year. I do know that they referred the summonses to a criminal attorney in Queens who was supposed to handle it. I have not seen any notice of pleading. I've been trying to text indirectly with my client while I've been sitting here the last few minutes. They are telling me that they were closed since around April until July. They say they have not received the notice of pleading. I have not seen it. I am only standing up here to see if I can avoid a default and see if it is possible to send this back to counsel's office so that we can determine if there's a way to resolve this.
So just for your information, this, per U.S. Postal Service's records in certified mail, this notice of pleading was delivered and left with an individual at the licensed premise on April 27th at 10:48. So, I mean, that's, to me, that's a default, but you obviously
The message I got was that they were closed. I don't know if that's someone that works for the owner of the property that may have been. I have no idea, and I can't make any representations.
That's the federal government. They are always accurate. I'm kidding.
They never miss.
I would be okay with it going back to council's office just to avoid a default. If they're gonna keep operating, it would seem like, since they have some history already, I don't want them to get a default if they're not defaulting.
Commissioner Ford?
I'm good with that, yeah.
Chairman Brown?
And I was gonna vote for 15,000.
Well, we may come back with that, but we'll, but thank you.
That's
Thank you.
just me. The other two did not vote on a number, so don't complain on that.
Okay, thank you.
Jonathan, I have nothing else signed in New York City.
Can we take 5 minutes then?
Let me just check.
Yeah, that's it.
Jonathan, we're done?
Yeah, there's no one else here, yeah.
All right, thank you. All right. We are going to take a brief recess, and we'll return with the items that with no appearance. All right, we are back on the record after a brief recess. We're going to resume with the items with no appearances. We'll do them in numerical order.
All right.
First one is 2522, it's a $1,500 offer.
I'm going to accept.
Commissioner Ford.
Accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2523 and 24, $10,000.
I have some concerns about this because now they want to go to 3 days a week from 7 to 2 a.m.
And they say they're a private membership bar.
Yeah, and they're going to become private membership. So what do you want to do?
They have to come in, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. So,
Come in on 13?
yep,
And 13?
yeah, 10, 13.
Commissioner Ford, do that.
Yes.
2525, $1,500.
1,500.
Commissioner Ford.
1,500 accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2526 and 2532, $7,500.
I'm going to go to 5,000.
Commissioner Ford.
I'll go to 5,000.
5,000.
Okay. 2527, offer cancellation of bond claim.
Cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford.
Slices.
Accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2528, $4,000.
I will take 4,000.
Commissioner Ford.
I'll accept.
Accept.
2529, $1,500.
Accept 1,500.
Commissioner Ford.
1,500 accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2530, $2,000.
I'm going to counter at 5,000.
Commissioner Ford.
What did you counter at?
5,000.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That was back-
5,000.
That was back May last year at the height of things, yes.
2533, $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford.
2533 accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2535, $2,000.
2,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford.
2,000 accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2536, $6,000.
6,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford.
6,000 accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2537, cancellation of bond claim.
Cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford.
Cancel and bond.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2538, $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford.
1,500 accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2539 and 2540, $3,000.
I'm going to counter at 5,000.
Commissioner Ford.
I'll accept 3,000.
Chairman Brown.
I'll accept the 3.
2541, it's a no contest plea.
I'm going to do letter of warning.
Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, I'll do letter of warning as well.
Chairman Brown.
Letter of warning.
2543, $1,500.
1,500.
Commissioner Ford.
1,500 accept.
Chairman Brown.
1,500.
2545 is a default.
I'm at cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford.
I'm at revoke and bond.
Chairman Bradley.
I'll revoke as well and bond.
25.
This was an undercover police officer who bought heroin. I don't like to, but not really see. Go ahead.
2546, $6,000.
6,000 accept.
Commissioner Ford.
6,000 accept.
Chairman Brown.
Accept.
2547, offer cancellation of bond claim.
Cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford.
Cancel and bond.
Chairman Brown.
Cancel and bond.
2548, $4,000.
I'm going to go to 2,500.
Commissioner Ford.
I'll go to 2,500.
Chairman Bradley.
2,500.
2549, no contest plea. You already issued a counteroffer on this cancellation of bond claim.
They've given us no reason why we need to change our minds, except they just wrote us a one-sentence letter, and they didn't show up, so I'm sticking with cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford.
Cancel and bond.
Chairman Bradley.
Cancel and bond.
2550, $2,000.
2,000, accept.
Commissioner Ford.
2,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2551 and 52, $8,000.
8,000, accept.
Commissioner Ford.
8,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2553, it's a $2,000 offer. Council is requesting that charge number 2 be withdrawn.
I'm gonna withdraw charge 2, but this is 63 people crowd at a convenience store. I'm gonna go counter at 5,000.
Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, large crowd of approximately 63 people. I'll do 5,000 as well.
And withdraw charge 2.
Yes, yes, sir.
Chairman Bradley.
Withdraw charge 2 and 5,000.
2554, 55, and 56. Matter that went to hearing.
This is a referral that came from our friends over the Workers' Comp Board, which is very rare, I think. I'm at cancel and bond.
And sustain the charges as the AOJ did.
Yes, please.
Commissioner Ford.
But withdraw charge 2 in the second proceeding?
Dismiss.
Oh, dismiss, I'm sorry.
That's the only one that was dismissed by the AOJ.
Correct.
Yes, cancel and bond.
Chairman Bradley.
Cancel and bond and sustain all the charges except the charge 2 in the second proceeding.
2557, matter with the hearing, all 4 charges were sustained by the ALJ.
I will sustain all 4 charges. I am at 5,000.
Commissioner Ford.
Same here, 5,000.
Chairman Bradley.
5,000.
2558, no contest plea.
I am at 4,500.
Commissioner Ford.
I'll do 4,500.
Chairman Bradley.
4,500.
2559, defaulted hearing.
Cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford.
Cancel and bond.
Chairman Bradley.
Cancel and bond.
2561, $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford.
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2562, $5,000.
I'll take 5,000.
Commissioner Ford.
5,000.
Chairman Bradley.
5,000. And the corp, just the memo did not indicate, but we have confirmed that the corporation has been reinstated.
2563 and 2589, an offer of $2,000.
I'll accept 2,000.
Commissioner Ford.
Same here, accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2564 and 65, an offer of $12,500.
I'm at cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford.
I'm at 15,000 and last chance for gas notice.
All right, Chairman Bradley.
No, I'm not canceling bond as well. They are. This is their 5th untaxed cigarette activity.
All right.
In 4 years.
Change my vote.
You're changing your counter offer?
Make it a hat trick, yes.
All right, 2566, $7,000.
I'm at 10,500.
Commissioner Ford.
10,500 is what I had to.
Chairman Bradley.
10,500.
2567, $1,500.
This is a Morton's. I will go to 750.
Commissioner Ford.
I'll do 750.
Chairman Bradley.
750.
2568, $1,500.
Oh, this was a lot of people, but I'll take 1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Grab.
Accept.
2569, $1,500.
I'm gonna counter at 3,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, outdoor cabinet. 3,000.
Chairman Grab.
3,000.
2570, $2,500.
I'll take 2,500.
Commissioner Ford,
2,500.
Chairman Grab.
2,500.
2571, $5,000.
I'll accept 5,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'll accept.
Chairman Grab.
I'll accept, but Mark, can you email enforcement and ask them to check whether this place is actually brewing? Because if they're not brewing any beer at all, it's basically just a bar operating with a brewer's license.
Okay.
Thanks.
The next item, 2573, is a package store application.
Wow, they didn't show up. I'm surprised.
573.
I don't know, I mean, the investment is kind of small.
Because of where they are, I'm willing to give them another shot to come down, but normally I would deny this because I had questions too, but it is way up.
You don't want them to come? Yeah.
No, I will ask them to
You
come
will
down
ask
to the
them to
next
come?
meeting, yeah, right?
Okay.
They did the summer, they didn't have a representative.
All right, so can someone contact them and just tell them?
I'll reach out.
Okay.
We'll put it over to the.
10, 13?
We'll let them know that's being held over.
Okay.
Commissioner Ford, you good with that?
Yes, absolutely.
2575 is a new grocery store beer and wine products license.
I will say that's,
It's a town judge. Can't trust him.
wait,
The guy that owns this is the town judge.
what number were you on before?
573 now.
I thought 575.
That was 573 before.
Oh, what happened to the package store?
We did that already. Oh, that was,
Yeah, so we're at so we're right now on 573.
No, that
No.
was the package store we had.
we just did that before.
2573 was the package store in Hammond, New York. It's being held over until October 13th.
Oh, this is, you know what this is?
He
This
is
is
a
the
town-
Adirondack one. All right, I got the wrong number.
Yeah,
That
we-
one I didn't pull. That was from Adirondacks. Okay.
2575 is a grocery store beer and wine products license in Brooklyn.
So the liquor store is the judge from St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
Right, right. Okay.
All right, so now I got it.
Prior applicant has no connection to the current applicant, correct?
That
Adam?
we can find.
Right, and I get that the money is shown in the tax return. So, I was okay with this.
Yeah, I was too.
Okay, great.
Chairman Pratt?
I'll approve as well.
2576, package store removal.
I am surprised they didn't show up.
The only protest clearly thinks this is a new store.
Yeah.
When it's not.
Yeah,
It's a short distance, but it is actually a little bit closer to the store that protested, but very, very, very small distance.
I don't know,
And
I think they
smaller.
need to.
And it's
maybe-
smaller too.
It's smaller?
Yes.
By about 100 square feet.
Yeah, and it
We
does,
can have them come in if you want them to come in.
I'm all right with just
Yeah.
approving it. I don't see any problems here.
Okay, then let's just do it.
All right, so Commissioner Fans approving, Commissioner
Sure.
Ford, you're approving.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am as well.
And then the next one,
2577
That's
is a removal from a package store. We do have a request from the applicant for an adjournment, and the parties were all notified, the opposition were all notified that it was being adjourned. So-
that's fine. I just want to comment that when counsel brief on behalf of their clients, it would be helpful if you don't misquote me as Commissioner Kim, because that is just offensive, and I just want to mention that.
I didn't even notice that. Where was it in the letter?
Yeah.
All right, what, 1013?
Yeah, I'll bring that to the attorney's attention. Commissioner Ford?
Yeah, it's fine. I missed that too.
2578.79, it's a $2,000 offer.
I'll take 2,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2580 and 81, $2,500 offer.
I'll take 2,500.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2582, $1,000.
Hold on a second. I'll accept 1,000.
Commissioner Ford,
I'm at 1,500 to be consistent.
1,500, Chairman Bradley.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's right.
All right, 1,500.
2583, $1,500.
1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1 second, 2583. Accept, yes.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2584, $1,500.
1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2585, $1,500.
1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2587, $1,500.
1,500.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2588, cancellation.
Cancel for the record.
Commissioner Ford,
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2590, 91, 92, and 93 is a no contest, conditional contest plea cancellation and bond.
I would accept cancel and bond.
Commissioner Ford,
License is surrendered, cancel and bond.
Chairman Bradley.
Accepted.
Accept.
2594, $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford,
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2595, $7,500.
It's been closed since January.
I'll accept 7,500.
Yep, accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2596, $2,000.
I'll accept 2,000.
Commissioner Ford,
2,000 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2597, $6,000.
I'm gonna accept 6,000.
Commissioner Ford,
Yeah, this place is on thin ice. Let that be on record right here. But I'll accept it, the 6,000.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2598, offer cancellation bond.
Cancel and bond.
Chairman Bradley. Commissioner Ford.
I hate it when you call me Bradley. Accept.
I hate it too.
But you're okay when I call you chairman?
Yes, that's okay.
I hate it when I get called Brad.
I accept, yeah.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2599, $1,500.
1,500 accept.
Commissioner Ford.
1,500 accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2600, $2,500.
I'll take 2,500.
Commissioner Ford.
2,500.
Chairman Bradley.
2,500.
2601, $2,500.
I'll accept 2,500.
Commissioner Ford.
Accept.
Chairman Bradley.
Accept.
2602 and 2603, $4,500.
I'll accept 4,500.
Commissioner Ford.
I'm going to move to dismiss the second proceeding altogether. I mean, if you look at this, this gentleman, there was a protest earlier, and two guys came out to protest. The protesters got into it. Somehow it spilled into the licensee's parking lot. Protest group number 1 alleged that protesters number 2 came from his premises. He said they did not. I don't think there's anything I read in here that proved that they did have anything to do with his premises. But yet protest group number 1 comes back to protest and harass and intimidate and antagonize this man's business. He came out to confront him. You look at the videos. Yeah, he probably went a little too far, but I don't think he should be punished for the actions of others who came to do his business harm. So without a doubt, I dismiss everything to do with that whole thing. But he is.
Which one?
I'm dismissing the second proceeding altogether.
This is September 1st, 2020.
Yes, so I'm holding the failure to comply with the executive order violations, yes, that. So that would be a $1,500 penalty in my mind.
All right, I will agree with you and go to 1,500. Thank you.
Chairman Bradley.
Impressive advocacy there, Commissioner.
Yep.
I will go to 1,500 as well.
And I'm biting my tongue with what I really want to say.
Ooh,
I think we're almost done.
Yep.
2604, $6,000.
Tell me in the car.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Say it again, Tom?
2604, it's a $6,000 penalty.
6,000 accept?
Commissioner Ford?
Accept.
Chairman Bradley?
So,
2607 and 08, $2,500 penalty.
I'll accept 2,500.
Commissioner Ford?
Accept.
Chairman Bradley?
accept.
2609, $7,500 penalty.
Adam, did you look into this? You saw the certificate of payment of taxes?
Yes.
Okay, great. I will accept 7,500.
Commissioner Ford?
Accept.
Chairman Bradley?
Accept.
Sorry.
2610 and 2611, cancellation of bond claim.
Cancel and bond.
Cancel and bond.
Chairman Bradley?
Cancel and bond.
2611A, this was like a little oops.
That's fine. We'll just clean this up. I'll accept.
Commissioner Ford?
Clean up in aisle 3. Yes, I accept. Yeah.
Chairman Bradley?
I'll accept the change too. Just for the record, so everyone's aware of what it was, it's an advisory that we previously approved, had a slight typo in it, and it didn't change the meaning of the advisory at all, but we want to be correct, so we corrected it.
Right, we want, the plan was to remove the references to TTB certified chemist. In the most important section it was, but no one picked up the fact that that phrase was used elsewhere, so
Yeah.
that's been taken out.
And just for anybody watching, I do want to clarify that we do expect to see a lab analysis. It just doesn't have to be from the TTB, it can be from another accredited lab.
All right, you hearing
All right,
people
with
think they don't have
that,
to?
Chairman, I have nothing else. Do you have anything else?
I do not. Thank you all.
With that, this meeting is adjourned.
Are you hearing people that aren't doing it?
If you don't,
They're literally now thinking they don't have to do any lab?
We off, Tom? Lights.
my whole alarm was
Still green.
Yeah.
Thank you.